Welcome back to another episode of Wolves Only Podcast powered by JWX Live Impromptu. I'm really digging impromptu. So we've all of us have been on separate podcasts together, individually, right? And that were planned. Yep. They're never planned. They're never planned. But Paul Bryan was the second in-person podcast we did at the studio. And we had some fun, man.
It was good.
It was like a family event.
I had a little bit of FOMO because I wasn't there for sure.
Well, that's the thing. You should have some FOMO. So yeah, it was cool. It was kind of a family event because my son was in the audience and Brian's wife as well. And they were sitting on the couch, like next to each other, you know, watching Brian and I smoke cigars and just rap. Yeah, and it was really cool. It was really cool. What did we smoke?
There were a couple of Cubans. I forget now what they were.
What were they? Begin with a P, right?
Yeah. But they were the nice Churchill.
You're the cigar sommelier, man. What's going on?
No, but
they were Churchill ones. You know, tomorrow's Winston Churchill Day.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah, really?
I've got a Winston Churchill late hour that I've been waiting.
Wait! You guys have not heard of Winston Churchill Day?
No.
This is where like your wife's supposed to bring you breakfast in bed with a cigar.
Get out of here!
No, look it up. I swear.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it was the comedian Bert Kreischer. His wife does it all the time because if you look at Winston Churchill's like daily, the dude was hammered all the time. Like he would have like a brandy at breakfast with toast and a cigar, and like so they call it Winston Churchill Day. I keep pushing my wife. I was like, I need to do it, and I know it's tomorrow. So
I've heard Bert Kreischer talk about this, where like he wears like a robe and like and smokes cigars and just gets drunk all day.
Yep, 100%.
Who was Winston Churchill? Like, what was his thing in history?
He was the Prime Minister of England during World War II.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, so he helped defeat the Nazis and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Wasted.
Fucking hammered, bro. Like, yeah. And that's why when you go back, like, if you listen to his speeches, like, he sounds sloshed.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, I guess I'm not a history buff.
You know, him and the Queen had kind of a love-hate relationship, but deep down, she had a lot of respect for him.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Who was the Queen at the time?
Elizabeth.
Are they all Elizabeth?
Yeah, but she was like in her like 1920, I think.
Yeah,
19, 20 years old. Like she was very, very young.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Extremely young.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I like Churchill cigars. So are Churchill cigars named after Winston Churchill?
So there's a size Churchill,
right,
which is the longer kind of. They're not as long as a Lancero. Lancero is a smaller ring size, about 42 ring with at least a 7-inch. Churchills are around 7-inch, but the ring size is a little bit bigger on them.
Okay.
But then
have to finish the brandy, apparently.
Well, exactly. You got to get taken for a nice long time. But then Davidoff has a Churchill line, and it's got Churchill's on the label itself.
Okay. I think I've seen that before. It's like a silhouette, like style label.
And the interesting thing about the Churchill late hours is they're a darker Maduro wrapped cigar. So they've got a real nice nutty kind of chocolate taste to them and everything. But then the filler leaves are actually fermented in brandy barrels.
Oh.
So when we were at Davidoff in the Dominican, they cracked open the lid on one of these barrels and just said, stick your head in there. It smelled amazing.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But yeah, those are
I'm not a big history buff, but I like finding out. I like learning about this stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I just haven't like gone out of my way to do it. And so before you came on, Brian, Paul and I were talking about country music.
Yeah.
All right.
And I told him that I'm not a fan, but I like some, but I'm not an overall fan of country music. And the biggest thing is I'm not a fan of the country community, country music community.
Got it. Okay.
Because I think there's a lot of racist innuendo or dog whistling. That's really why.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
again, it's
see
like
that.
it's like it's
I
like
could almost say the
it's
same
like
thing.
it's like the thin blue line people, the people with like the over like I love cops. It's like,
Yeah.
do you really love cops that much, or do you just not like black folks?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how, it doesn't matter what side you're on, people can go way too extreme with everything and just lose any kind of perception.
It is. It is. It's like it just reeks of it to me. It's like really, are you that patriotic, or do you just not like other types of individuals?
Yeah.
I always like to just take a practical approach to everything that I can, like, it's like I do get mad though if somebody doesn't stand for the national anthem,
Oh yeah.
like that pisses me off, especially in sports, like that, that does make me mad.
Well, to me, I get that. And as much as I see both sides of it, it's like, is that the time to like,
Yes. Yeah.
is that really the time to like create controversy and stuff like that?
Right.
I am the guy that's like, if you have a platform to stand on, then like express your opinion and stuff like that. But like, really, like, why are you really doing it? Is it because no celebrity, actually, this is funny. This is a funny topic right now because last night, I don't know if you guys watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. Are you familiar with Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yeah, I know it. I don't watch it
I'm
though.
not.
I don't have a whole lot of time to get into stuff like that, but
okay. Well, if you ever did, that's the show to get into, right? But there's basically the last season. This was the final season, and Larry David, who wrote Seinfeld, it's about basically like his run-ins and his mishaps and the shit he gets himself into. So, in the season prior, he was going to see one of his old friends, who's this like big old black lady, okay, down in Atlanta, Georgia. And she's in line to vote, and she's like sweating and ready to have like a heat stroke. So he gives her a bottle of water, and that's illegal. So he goes to jail, and then he's like facing like a trial. Now, of course, the media grabs this, and obviously, the two sides of it, right? You have Fox News, CNN, and like Fox News is condemning him for being, trying to throw an election, while CNN and all the liberals are like, he's a hero. You know what I mean? He helped a minority with a bottle of water, and anyways, so it gets to the point where he has to go to court, right? And there's like a lot of hype and a lot of build up for this court, his court session. And Ted Danson, who's like one of his friends, they hate each other, but they're like friends in the same community. He decides he's going to protest for Larry and protest for against voter suppression and things like that. And Larry basically says like, you're not standing for me, you're standing for you. You're doing this because the camera's on you, right? And it's like, I challenge people's intention for why they do certain things, right? Based on, is it you're trying to seek more validation, appease your audience, so on and so forth? Or is that truly where your heart is? Do you really care that much, or are you trying to put the limelight more on yourself?
And it's hard to tell these days.
It is.
You really have to either know that person or it's hard because there's tons of people grandstanding for just them.
Right. And
100%. I mean, probably
so it's
more
like
now
the
than
Colin
ever.
Kaepernick deal back then, when it was like, you have to wonder, like, you had two sides arguing so much that it was like one of the most, it was talked about more than football itself at the time, right? But it was like, are you, because let's face it, the dude was like, he wasn't even that great of a quarterback, right? I mean, from what I understood, like, it was like, what were you just trying to get more airtime? Or is that really where your heart is, to the point that you would piss off a whole entire, demographic? So I don't know. And then, again, and then it's like, do you really care so much about the flag and standing for the anthem, or do you just hate Colin Kaepernick because whatever? You know what I mean? Like, that's such a juxtaposition that, like, to be in. And whatever. The truth is, I don't give a shit. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. For a lot of that, I'm just too busy.
Right. I found that when I was fat, when I was drinking, when I was, let's just call it, fucking bored, I cared way more about shit like that. Politics, sports. You tend to care about shit more out of your control, right? When you're not living a life in your control.
Well, you know why that is.
Explain.
It's because you weren't executing on the things that you execute on now, right?
Yeah.
Like, you weren't, your focus wasn't in the area that it needed to be. Therefore, you weren't executing on that focus.
But don't you think that there is something to a level of serenity to where you end up like losing all care for that type of stuff?
Yeah, I definitely think that's.
Well, of course, you're busier.
Yeah.
Right? You're busier. But if I focus my life on not caring about the things that are out of my control, right? Changing the things that are in my control and having the wisdom to know the difference, then you're sitting in present moment, right? You're sitting in what's in front of you, what you can control, right? So it's all of a sudden, like, serenity overpowers those outer factors in life.
Yeah, I was just going more off of, like, when you said, you're out of shape, so, like, when you're focused on the, getting back into shape, you're focused on your nutrition, you're focused on building relationships, you're focused on building a business. You don't even think twice about considering watching that shit or being involved in that, right? Because you're so focused on the execution of all of the other things that you're working on. Because I know, like, when I get off base, it's because I'm not executing, right? When I start to feel like I'm not making progress, or, if I get involved in something like that, I look at my habits and I go, I'm not fucking executing on what I should be executing.
Right. What didn't I do today? What didn't I do this week that's throwing me off?
Right.
Yeah. Maybe that is the case. I like to think of it as more of a deep philosophical meaning, but maybe it is a level of boredom.
Yeah. I think it's there too, because, like, it's like me in sports. Like, I grew up in a sports family, but I don't give a shit about sports. No. Like, I have family members that'll watch 6-9 hours of sports a week.
Right.
And I'm like, what are you doing? But that's what they want to do at their time.
Well, I find so often that, like, okay, so let's say, like, you're in this, like, the season of your life, which should be every season of your life, where it's like self-development, self-mastery. That should just be the mode that you're always in, right? But let's just say that that's the current season that you're in, right? You become very competitive with yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, watching other men be competitive with other men, you can't be interested in any longer.
Right.
It's fucking boring. I don't want to watch men with their, like, I don't want to watch some other dude and wear his name on my back, make money doing something that he loves. I want my name on my back, and I want to be making money doing what I love.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, and then it's like, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, my team won. Like that might be your team, but you're not on their team, homeboy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, to each their own, but I 100% agree.
I get it all the time. People find out that I'm originally from Canada, and they're like, "Oh, do you watch hockey?" Actually, I don't. I played it for 10 years and went to high school with a bunch of guys that are retired NHL players, and I don't watch it. I can appreciate it if I happen to go to a game or got tickets. I can appreciate the game, obviously, but there's better things I want to do with my time.
Right.
You know.
I played for 25 years, Brian.
Did you?
Yeah, I played in beer league, and then right before COVID hit, I hung it up because I had so many concussions, and again, it just goes to my focus started to go a different way.
I gave it up at 16. I played from 6 to 16, so I was
nice.
I never got into hockey.
Yeah.
Paul, how's the book?
Book's going good, man. Thanks for asking.
I still got to get into it. I will say this. I love the Burn This book.
Yeah.
I don't want to get too far into this conversation about it because I have every intention on diving into it. And I'll have it done in no time. But we have a team book that we've been reading, and then I started to build this curriculum around Dale Carnegie's book. And it's like, I can read multiple books at once, but I want to really give your book all the time that it needs.
Well, speaking of Dale Carnegie's book, I started listening to it last night while I was walking, and you realize he has his own version of Burn This Book in the preface of Influence. And
really?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't say burn this book, but what he says is, if I have not captured your attention with, I think he said the first 3 chapters, or maybe it's 3 hours, then I am going to consider this book a failure. And so essentially that's what I mean by burn this book.
Right.
Is if I haven't captured your attention or added some value to your life with you reading the first hour of that book, then set it on fucking fire.
I love how it's on a separate card though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it caught my attention instantly. Was that your idea?
Yeah. I worked through that with my book coach. Because everything I do, I try and be as bold as I can be. And I was like, not only does there a component to the premise of the book of being a firefighter for 14 years, right? But I'm also betting on myself. I'm betting on myself that, I put my heart and soul into this thing, that I'm going to add value in some way to whoever's life reads it, right? Like I want to add value to your life. And so I'm betting that I'm going to do that. But if I don't, and you just think it sucks, then set it on fire and tag me on Instagram. So,
love it.
Will it break your heart if people did that?
It's free advertising, dude. It's like,
no, I know.
But not only set it on fire. I said, make sure you can see my face in the title or my name in the title. But I mean, it would. But and here's the thing: you can't please everybody, right?
No.
But it's.
But it's like this just makes me think back in the day when Marilyn Manson, all the churches would go and buy out all of his albums, and then they'd have like these displays where they would run it over with like steamrollers and stuff. And he's like, I don't give a fuck. You bought my CDs. Like, thanks for the business. Like, I don't care what you do with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like it served its purpose so far, even though you haven't read it yet, which is totally fine. But, like it's going to capture your attention and go, man, what is this really about? Like,
yeah.
Give me an hour.
Right away when I opened it up, I was like, I love having the personalized note. That meant a lot to me. And I love that right away. It caught my attention and it made me want to dive right in. I want to separate some time out of my reading assignments, to really give it a go. And I'll burn it. If I don't like it, I'll burn it right for you.
I mean, and that's the thing is I value honesty. I think it would suck, but if I
No.
failed as an author, then I mean that's the truth, and sometimes
Well,
the truth
I think it's so funny because I started writing my book,
hurts.
and there's times where like I'll start writing it and I'll be like really into it, and then there's times where I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Like, why am I even doing
Need
this?
a coach? Let me know. I'll coach you.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it is a process. Like
Did you
it's
feel that way though? Like as you were writing it, you felt
oh
like a little imposter syndrome, a little.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of peaks. There's a lot of pits. It really tests your ideology on some things, right? Like it's like, do I really believe this? Do I really feel this? Do I really, like it really makes you dig deep. As long as you're focused and heading towards that path on writing a book,
Right.
like it's gonna make you, and to be honest, man, like chapter 4 was probably the hardest fucking chapter I had to write because, it's called More Funerals Than Weddings. Like there was a 2-year period where my wife and I were going to a funeral all the time. And that included, my grandfather who I'm named after. And it included my best friend that died in 2015. Like I had to bring that trauma up. And I realized that there was some shit that I had not dealt with. And going through that and actually putting it on paper made me deal with it. And so that chapter took about 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. When you put it on paper, it's like, fuck.
Yeah. So, yeah, man.
Brian, any chance you're gonna write a book?
I've thought a lot about it. I actually was going to write a more of a corporate book a while back. Obviously, the world doesn't need another one of those. I probably will. Absolutely. I think I've got a good story to tell as well. But I can relate to what you're talking about when, I used to write all my own speaking engagements and training and stuff like that. And I would go back to them a year or 2 years later and I'd read this and go, what was I thinking when I wrote this?
Right.
Because it's different because for that, you're often writing for a specific audience. They want to learn X. So I'm going to write X. So I'm looking forward to going through the process of actually writing just what happened.
Right.
This is
Something about creative freedom.
Yeah.
You got to write what you want to write about. That's the biggest thing. Don't write it for somebody else. Write it for you, and that's how you'll reach people and resonate.
Do you ever get though like the conceptual fatigue where it's like I'm bored of the topic as I'm writing it?
Yeah, 100%. And you'll delete whole chapters and be like, this is a piece of shit. I'm not putting this out.
Oh, okay. Good
Yeah.
to know.
I mean, there's really, my coach taught me a really good frame, like how to frame each chapter and, just back it up with stories and things like that. But it's, yeah, man, it's not, I wouldn't say it's easy because if you look at the world population, the people that have actually written and published a book is less than 1%.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so you think, and that's the thing, like you asked about imposter syndrome. It's like you think that, like you look at self-help, like there's probably 80,000 plus books in self-help. Like, am I really gonna, help somebody? Like that's imposter syndrome. But what was really cool is my wife is a big Coach Prime fan. And like a week after I released my book, he released his. And she bought it, she started opening up, and it's awesome because he has key takeaways at the end of his chapters. Guess what? I have key takeaways of mine, and I beat him to it. So, but that it's just it's a process, man, and it'll really help you process stuff if you need to, but it also help you tell your story, which we all have a story, right?
Right.
Like and there's certain ways to do it and there's certain ways not to do it. I went the non-traditional route. Like it took me less than 3 months to write this book to publication.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations on doing that, man. That is,
Yeah,
I think that's one of the coolest accomplishments. And I can't wait to dive more into it. It's like, dude, every time I start a project, another project comes up, and you know, but I leave the document open on my computer, and I try to plug away paragraph by paragraph or page by page, and and then again, it's like I step away from it, and I have my mixed emotions about the topic subjects that I'm talking about, and and then it's like, am I lacking in this area? Is it interesting in this area? And it is, and you don't. The best thing about starting something new, in a way, is that insecurity that comes along with it, because it's so fresh, and I love that it is so fresh and so new. um but it does, it's like, makes you feel like a kid again.
Yeah, and there's ways to make that easier, that process easier. There's a lot of it that you can't, not focus on, but there's a frame to each chapter to make it um, easier for you to pull that rawness out, I would say.
Right.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you asking. It's another peak of mine, right? And now it's normal. Like I always wanted to write a book, and I was like, if you go back to November last year, I was like, who the fuck would want to read my story? And there was a big mindset shift in there that was like, no. There's a lot that I have to offer.
Yeah.
Like, my whole story. Like, there's somebody that'll read it that'll go, hey, that's me. If you could do it, I can do it. Right.
Yeah, people resonate with what you're saying, resonate with your voice on paper, and yeah, absolutely.
And it also helps you make, like, in the coaching space, like it helps make you a bigger authority.
Well, yeah, 100%. When you're able to be a writer, and hopefully you have some traction on Amazon and the other outlets, to where you get some clout behind it, because a lot you can't judge a book by its cover, but the cover definitely sells the book sometimes, right? And like just the imagery, the name, all of it is like, it hits on all cylinders, and I think the book will do well, just based on what you have put into it. But just the aesthetic of it itself definitely does add some shelf appeal.
Yeah. Well, and I just made it me. Like, I really, I do care about the details, right? Like, what's important is what's in it, but I also want it to look and feel a certain way. And, just that's how I handle everything.
Yeah, it's a great picture. That split picture is just, yeah, that's awesome.
Brian, I would read a book on cigars, brother.
Yeah, so would I.
Maybe we can test all these cigars and pair them with certain food types or something, do some market research and report our findings, kind of like Rick Steves does with travel or something.
Well, it's interesting because this kind of circles back to the beginning of the conversation. We're talking about the sports, and that's a lot of what my cigar journey has been. Is I went and I dove in like right up to my neck. I got certified as a master sommelier in the Dominican. I've done education seminars and stuff around here in Vegas, pairing stuff, and then all of a sudden now it's just not a priority anymore. It's not. It's a part of my life still.
Right.
More now is quiet enjoyment.
How long did it take you to get that?
There was the first course was online, because the first session was all online because of COVID and everything like that. Or sorry, it was before COVID, so it was online, and then so about a year and a half, and then the master's program, you're actually in country, because you're there at the farms and the factories, and you're basically backing up a lot of your book knowledge by when you were talking about different soil types and stuff like that, because you dive right into the different soils in different countries and how that affects the taste of a cigar. And it's fascinating. It's interesting. I would liken that to anybody that becomes a wine sommelier. Like, just imagine all the variants of grapes and stuff. But
I never get. I didn't. Even when I drank, I didn't like wine. Unless there was nothing else to drink.
Okay, yeah.
But I didn't really find my dad's really into wine. And
Yeah.
he likes to go to Napa and like go to the vineyards and things like that. And like I just never, none of that was appealing to me. But something about cigars and like the smell and like I just I love smelling like it.
Yeah.
I like going into a cigar lounge and just being overpowered by like just how just how loud that smell is.
Yeah, it's pretty funny though when you come home and you basically have to strip in the garage and then enter
If you have
the
beard,
house.
the beard holds on to the scent for a
Oh my
while. So
goodness.
Oh,
hour every
I want
It
the
would
I want the
absolutely.
I want the smell. I want the you know I want it. I want it all. I like to wake up still smelling like it. I'm gross.
Yeah, but does the missus want the smells? Would it?
Yeah.
She's cool with it. She likes everything I do until she doesn't, right? Like,
yeah.
One day it'll just just like Stacy would smoke the odd cigar, but she hasn't in a couple of years, but she used to. So
oh really?
yeah, it's just kind of go through a season, and yeah, she liked the infused ones, the fat bottom Betties.
Oh,
That's my favorite.
what
There
is
you
that?
go.
What are
Not
they
gonna
infused?
lie, I love that.
How are they infused?
They've just got a spice that's infused into the tobacco, and
It's almost correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like it's almost like a pipe tobacco infusion, right?
yeah, it'd be the same.
Yeah, that's my go-to. But I'm friends with Brian now, so he's gonna fix my palate when it comes to cigars for sure.
Now we're talking. See, and I still love to do it as a hobby in that, but I was never going to take it any further than that, really. Yeah, it's fun.
I love them.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you kind of opened my eyes to like, because I've been like so cute, like I just want Cubans,
Right.
and when you were like, well, Justin, you're kind of you're eliminating a lot of other great smokes, um and I just always was like, it's got to be Cubans because it's got to be like the shit no one can get. I gotta have that. Right.
Yeah, it's like saying I only want steak and potatoes, and you can have some amazing variants of steak and potatoes, but it's still at the end of the day, it's still steak and potatoes. Sometimes I want pasta, sometimes I want Thai, sometimes I want, and so when you stretch into Dominicans and Honduras and Nicaragua and all the different countries and experience the flavors that soil produces,
Right.
it's completely different.
Yeah, no. In fact, I smoked that Connecticut leaf that you gave me the other day, and
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. The thing about Connecticut leaves is like they're so durable. Like that cigar was like strong, and I chew on them, bite on them, and I ash them too hard because I know you're not supposed to, but I do, and I thank you, and I just I actually enjoyed the durability of that leaf.
That's my favorite cigar with a coffee if I'm going to like do a Saturday morning or Sunday morning smoke.
Okay.
That's Churchill Day. Yeah.
That's your Churchill Day. Yeah.
Exactly.
Coffee.
That's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Like I said, I've told my wife several times, so I'm crossing my fingers that I get a cigar and breakfast in bed.
Yeah, I'm gonna smoke cigars in my house tomorrow. I'm gonna light this place up. I'm gonna smoke cigars in bed.
Yeah. We're just terrible for fires, but
Yeah,
it's all right. I don't live in Laguna. We're about 15 miles away.
I'm talking about just dropping an ash on those freaking, if you have a polyurethane foam bed or something,
Oh yeah.
Is that a fire hazard?
Oh my god, yeah. Why do you think like pretty much any piece of furniture has the California warning label that don't smoke this around cigarettes? If you put furniture together and you see a tag, that's what it all says because of California, their laws. But yeah, every piece of furniture is like the most toxic thing you can burn because one, it has flame retardant on it, and then two, it's mainly made of polyurethane foam, which when you burn polyurethane foam, it produces hydrogen cyanide. So yeah, it's not the smartest idea to smoke in bed, but
I'll take your word for it. I mean, you're the career firefighter. I mean,
you are kind of the expert.
Nothing's more flammable than that beard.
It's solid. I do have to be careful when I light a cigar, though.
You don't just toast it?
I toast it, but I kind of have to and Brian could probably show me a better way, but I can't put the cigar in and light it like this because then
I don't do that at all.
No, Brian toasts it for like a good minute.
Yeah. I usually toast it and then I'll get it lit and then. But yeah, the guys that turn it and toast it like this, I don't do that because it's too close to the beard.
Yeah, you don't really have to
hold in my hand and do it. Just turn it slowly. Just toast it. Because if you hit it too hard with the lighters, you're burning the end a little bit. So your first 2 or 3 draws, you're gonna get kind of a weird burnt kind of taste. So
I had to also turn my torch down a little bit too. I was torching it with 2. You got to just have that nice light blue flame.
Yeah, all of a sudden the hair in your arms go up in flames. So my torch might be a little crazy right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go to Vegas and get a education. I think I'm gonna have to do that.
Let's go together. I'm down. I gotta go. I have to go to I gotta go to meet Brad Lee.
Oh yeah,
do you do this podcast?
Oh, I'm talking about Lightspeed. We'll see.
I had a guy hit me up for that.
For Lightspeed?
Yeah, he's trying to sell me on some shit.
He's got a great program. But honestly, I have to because you guys know, I do such a good job of building out my infrastructure, and maybe it's not the most efficient way of doing it, but it works really well to where I'm am I ready to, I'll throw $100,000 at Lightspeed, no problem. But if it's I already have half of it, or I already have the manpower to do it, that I don't need it all automated, then it's is it really worth it for that money? Can I invest that out?
Yeah, I didn't really look too hard at it,
but everybody seems to.
I don't think I looked at it.
It's pretty in depth. It is.
It's called Lightspeed.
Lightspeed VT. And PGA, the PGA is on Lightspeed. Tony Robbins, a lot of people on Lightspeed.
I just like Brad Lee.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, I like what he stands for.
Yeah, me too. He does a really good job. He's got great content, and he puts it out there, and he definitely backs up everything that he talks about. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be a part of it, but I'm not going to pay to be in his fold unless it's something that is super beneficial to my entire organization. Now I'm being told that it will be, but I'm not, again, I've been I'm not a pioneer by any means. Right. But I've definitely been in the right networks and in the right conversations to know a little bit. And if I don't know it, then I put the right people in play, or have the right people get trained up and put them in play. That we've been able to do a lot of this without some of that stuff. Anything else I paid for.
Is he out of Vegas? Is that where he's at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice. Greg Finney.
Yep.
He has an office set up at Bradley's office.
Oh, okay. So that's why I see them together quite a bit on Greg's.
Yeah, they're close friends.
Insta. Out smoking cigars.
Yep. No. Greg's awesome.
Got it. Okay.
Greg is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's a good dude. He really he moves fast too, that dude. He he was like, you know what, I'm moving to Vegas. I'm selling my business. I'm getting into coaching 100%. I was like, fucking hey, let's go. He did. Sold his business, signed up with JWX, moved to Vegas. Now he's like, he set up an office in Bradley's office, and he's like, shows up on every call, even when he's like balls deep in work and other things, he still listens in.
Yeah.
He's really great. Yeah. He's a really, really great dude. He's got a wild story too. I'll let him tell it on a separate podcast, but
nice.
Yeah, he kind of got into it a little bit when we were doing the podcast of the Venetian. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's done heavy time and came out, was homeless, built a few businesses, and did pretty well. So
everybody's got a story, and
that's why you got to write a book.
I have to keep reminding myself, and yeah, you totally inspire me here, because I have to keep reminding myself that there are people out there that need to specifically hear my story. They don't know it yet, and I don't know them, and they don't know it, but it's just like the authors that you continue to go back to. I'm rereading a book now for the 5th time, just because I resonate with it, and I need to touch base with it every once in a while. And it's an author. It's probably my favorite author, and I just keep going back to the same book.
Which book is it?
I'm reading The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharman.
Okay.
And Robin self-published years and years ago, like in a copy store in Toronto. And he self-published his book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. And fascinating book. And so I started following his books. But this 5 a.m. Club, Paul, it resonates a lot about what we've been taught and trained to do. Just get up and knock out your power hour. Do the things that you need to do to set your day up to be successful for the rest of the day. Do that every day, and you're setting your week up to be successful, to your month, to your quarter, to your year.
Yep.
And I like the book because it kind of tells a story. There's characters in the book, but you're learning the lesson.
Right. Yeah. I wouldn't even know any longer. Like, I'm so programmed to having everything done by like 6:30 in the morning that it's like, even like, Sundays, if I like sleep in until 5, like I feel completely lost through the day. Like I'm so wired, to be 5, like in the gym by 5 a.m. But fuck, up by 5 a.m. No, I'm up at like 3:30,
okay.
and I don't have to be. I don't have to be at all. I have employees on the East Coast. They're up. They've been up. They get up at 5 a.m. as well, or 4 a.m. as well. But and then we have Sergey, who's 9 hours ahead of us.
That's right.
It's like we have manpower up and running, but I hate the fact that like I could be sleeping through opportunity.
Yeah,
I hate that feeling. And
I also 4 a.m.
4 a.m.
I tried 4 a.m. for a while, very consistently, and then I realized that my body was saying, "No, I need you to."
You have to really. What
5 a.m. person. I need you to be a 9 to 5er in bed 9 to 5.
Go ahead.
This is hilarious because I had this conversation with my wife this morning. So my wife's a doctor, so I woke up. I got out of bed before 4:30, right? And I was wide awake. I was ready to fucking go. And then we're getting ready. I went through my entire routine this morning, and at like 6:30, I was garbage. And she's like, "Well, you know why that is?" I'm like, "No, I don't fucking know. I'm not a doctor, And she's like, "Your cortisol levels haven't compensated yet. Like, so, like I'm all about getting up early, but I'm also all about recovery.
Yeah.
And so like I always walk that line too.
Well, what time? What time do you go to bed?
I'm usually in bed by 9.
Same. What do you have? Like, what do you get? Quality sleep?
Yeah, for the most part. But you got to remember, even though I've been out of the fire department for 8 years, my body is still fucked up from getting up in the middle of the night and going to work at 2 a.m. or whatever, or not going to sleep for 48 hours. Like, so it's something I always have to watch, but without a doubt, getting up at 5 a.m. or a little bit before just sets the day right, for sure.
Do you guys use CPAP?
No. I used to, but I stopped probably I'd say 30 pounds ago.
Wow.
As I was losing weight, I didn't need to use it anymore.
But you don't find still that, because like, yeah, I don't need to use it anymore either, but I still do because my quality of sleep. I use a nose strip, and I use nasal pillows to a CPAP, and I'll tell you guys like right away, like I sleep so well.
Yeah, nose strips. Have you ever tried to tape your mouth shut?
I hear. So when I was first training myself to use the nasal pillows, there's a head strap that basically keeps your mouth like shut when you're sleeping. That I use that for months on end. To now I don't. I keep my mouth closed when I'm sleeping now.
Yeah.
So I'm really good about that.
Pillows too. I use the nasal.
I actually I sleep with a body pillow.
Oh,
like that changed the game for me, because like
really?
yeah, I think it's called Medcline or something like that. But man, that I sleep so much better with a body pillow.
So you like wrap your legs around it and stuff?
Yeah, you could do that too. Like,
see, I sleep like the Undertaker. Like I literally sleep like.
I do too. Yep, I can. Yep.
It's
yeah.
I'm still working on mine. I'm still jacked up. I look at what the Aura Ring reports in the morning. You can see numerous times where I'm coming full awake, and
dude, put that CPAP back on. I'm telling you.
So here's the problem with the CPAP, and it took me a while to discover it. I think it's specifically living here in Vegas. The humidity, if the humidity was turned down low on it, I'd get dry nose, threaten nosebleed. Turn the humidity up, I get what they call like a nasal drip. I was waking up every morning with a cough, phlegm cough.
Really?
Yeah. As soon as I stopped using the CPAP, after about a week or so, it tapered right off to the point where I don't wake up, hacking up a lung anymore.
Yeah, body pillow, nose strip, maybe a little bit of melatonin. Man, does it trick.
No melatonin. I do magnesium, vitamin D. I do a heavy turmeric supplement. I do Mwendo is a product that I use. I don't know what's in it, but it's by Ambrosia Collective. It really helps out too with just like relaxation. KSM 66, like a good ashwagandha. Definitely does help as well. But yeah, I'm telling you guys, like it's like 9 to 3 a.m. and then once it's like my body, I just rip the mask off, go take a leak, weigh in, and then I'm right away emails, DMs, and it's funny because I put my phone on do not disturb, and then when I first get up, I'll turn it off, and like my phone is caked with notifications. I'm like, who the fuck is up at this time sending me messages?
You know what you got to add, Justin?
What's that?
Oh, you got to add cold plunge.
Ugh. Fuck that.
Yep, 6 a.m. every day.
I hate cold plunge. I gotta take a leak. I'll be right back.
So I think, Paul, I told you I got it set up, but I haven't really been using it. I think I want to almost use cold plunge at noon as a pick me up, because I can't drink any kind of caffeinated beverage past about 11 or 12, especially because I'm already having problems with sleep anyways. So I was thinking of using that cold plunge as the pick me up for the afternoon.
Yeah, you just got to make sure that you separate it with your workouts by at least 4 hours.
Okay, that makes sense then. All right.
Yeah, same thing like with infrared sauna, because your body's going through what's called hormesis.
Okay.
So like you don't want to go lift weights and then do the cold plunge or sauna or whatever. You got to separate it by 4 hours. So that's why, like, I work out at night. I cannot lift weights. I don't lift weights, but I can't lift in the morning. Mm-hmm. It's never worked for me. So that's why I do cold plunge in the morning. I get my workout in the evening, and I have that 4 hour separation. But yeah, for sure, for the mental aspect, that definitely try it, man. See if it just sets you off the rest of the time. You can do it at night. Like there is benefits of taking a cold shower before you go to bed and actually sleeping better. Like I've definitely done that before too.
So my one hilarious cold plunge experience. I was doing a vlog and a full podcast with Shane Earn from the Hopeaholics, and if you guys know anything about their entire production setup, it's incredible. I mean, they have endless money to put towards it. Like it's insane.
Nice.
And when it was the vlog, like with the vlog, we were doing cold plunge at one fitness club. Okay, and then we went to a chiropractic office to work with this guy, this doctor, Dr. Voss, who does all the work for the Los Angeles Kings and the Dodgers and stuff like that. And he's a really well-known chiropractor and whatever. So we're doing, but anyway, so we first go to the cold plunge. I meet him there, and they have like the camera crew, everything, and we're talking like serious stuff. Like we have great equipment, but this guy's equipment is like next level, and I'm like, holy shit, like this is what I need. Like I need to be part of this, right? Now I have a bigger audience than them, but they just have a bigger budget. You're talking, these guys own like the biggest rehab facilities in California, so
Wow.
massive money that they dumped into like their podcast studio and stuff like that. So anyways, he's like, if you know Shane's about 2 inches taller than me, loud as all hell, the greatest man in the world. He's Canadian, and he's big, bald beard guy. Like he just looks like a tall, thin version of me. And he's like, yeah, baby, we're going into the cold plunge. And he's like really animated. And he's like, my man Justin here, big Justin's getting in. And I'm like, fuck, I hate cold plunges. But, I had to like be tough because like it was like the hip thing. Yeah, you got it. He's like, we're going in for 8 minutes. I go, 8 minutes? Are you fucking crazy? He's like, we're going in for 8 minutes. He's like, you're gonna man up. We're gonna do this. I'm like, oh my God. So now I finally get in, and it's miserable because it is fucking miserable. And I'm like sitting in there, like, and he's like having a conversation with me, and I'm like trying to talk, and like their cameras are all on me. They got like boom stands and shit. And I'm like, this is the most like this is like a Michael Bay fucking vlog. And I'm sitting in here in like little shorts, freezing my balls off. And he's like yelling at me the whole entire time. I'm like, this is just an interview with Shane. Like, and if you guys ever watch Hopeaholics, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And his energy is unparalleled. He is he's the best dude I've ever met. And when it comes to like this industry that we're in, and his again, like I love being around him. But the fucking and I remember he's like, how was it? How'd you like it? And then off camera, he's asking me, and I'm like, dude, don't ever fucking do that to me again.
Do you know how cold it was? Like the temperature? Do you know what it was at?
Negative 1,000.
No.
It was fucking miserable, man. I don't know. It was 38 degrees, maybe. Is that cold? That's cold, right?
That's fucking cold. Yeah, 38 is fucking. Yeah, that's my chiller only goes down to 39, and it has a hard time holding it at 39. And so I generally get in between like 40 and 42. But I'm only doing 3.5 minutes every day, so
that's tolerable. 8 minutes was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And get this, he even was like, I think we walked up to him, it was a certain temperature. Now I'm not paying attention. I'm just pissed off that I have to do this, but I'm gonna do it, right? But and he was like, no, we gotta put the cover back on. It's got to be colder. I'm like, colder?
Yeah.
God, what you do?
We just bought a really nice one for our health and wellness clinic.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We're gonna put it in our sauna room, so we're gonna call it the fire and ice room. You can go in the sauna, and then you can go to the cold plunge, and like you can just rent the room for an hour and go back and forth if you want to do that.
Well, honestly, I don't even like saunas. Like any extreme temperatures, I just don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the health benefits are so massive.
I get it.
It's like, and it's yeah. but I mean, for me, the cold plunge is just, it's this, man. Like I do it first thing in the morning. After I meditate and I journal, like it just sets my day in a different tone. Cause I'm doing something fucking hard right away. I'm not a big workout guy in the morning. Like I can't go and lift in the morning. So doing this for my day, it especially running a business, like, it's almost like, okay, whatever can be thrown at me today doesn't fucking make it as hard as getting into that.
No, I do get that.
For 3.5 minutes,
No, I do. I definitely do get that. And, I train very hard in the morning. Like,
yeah, I know you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I was saying, Justin, when you stepped out, I was saying to Paul that I'm think my optimal cold plunge time, I'm going to try to do noon or just early afternoon as a pick me up, as a mental.
Oh yeah.
Pick me up. Because I think because I'm getting such shit sleep, I find the afternoons I'm just dogging it. I was complaining today, and it's funny that Paul, you mentioned the cortisol levels. Because I'm looking at a text message from Stacy. She's going, maybe it's your cortisol levels. As far as why I was so tired this afternoon.
Who's managing your diet right now, Brian?
I'm just looking after myself.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah, dude. We need to link up, like, with all the testing we do. Like, we do it at cost. You do. We do all kinds of stuff, and it's the most comprehensive labs you'll ever get with us. Like, especially like with, we talked about tea earlier, like all that stuff. Like, yeah, man, our basic test we run in our office is a food allergy test. And believe it or not, there's no such thing as food sensitivities. Your body doesn't go, oh, you're sensitive to this. It's either it's an allergy or it's not.
Interesting.
And I mean, I have a friend that he took that food allergy test, mm-hmm. and he lost 30 pounds just avoiding his food allergies because it was causing so much inflammation.
Yeah, the inflammation's huge with that.
Yeah. I definitely need that because I'm discovering now that there's a form of crab all of a sudden now that is just, as soon as I take it, my nose is just stuffing up immediately. I'm getting itchy throat. I've never had any kind of food sensation like that before. So yeah,
I would suggest, I'll tell you guys like right away, Brandon, like, I would just have Brandon do, like, I've been coached. I've had some of the best coaches, and Brandon is, I've never felt better. I've never once felt better than I do right now.
He would not want to work with me though, because I'd be like, well, these are my food allergies, so I don't eat eggs. It has to be organic. I won't take testosterone, and I don't lift weights. You're like, what the fuck you do?
No, I don't think so. I think he doesn't. I don't eat eggs.
Oh, really?
Nope.
Yeah.
No, but it's not in my meal plan at all. He asked me what foods I could eat every day. I said, I'll eat Wagyu. I'll eat salmon, and I'll eat bison. And he was like, okay, Wagyu, salmon, bison, here's what you eat. And then I have a shake. But he literally dialed me in based on the foods that I love, and nice. I eat it every single day. And I stay in actually a little bit of a surplus, and I lean out. As I stay in a surplus, I'm never really that hungry. But I'll tell you guys, like, the way he dials in macros and like the way that he just, like, again, I've had the best of the best for coaching. But
that's awesome.
He has me feeling, and on top of that, yes, my supplement regimen and things like that definitely are super dialed in. My PEDs that I'm running right now, I've never been so dialed in that I feel like really good. And I'm running a micro dose of a bunch of things. I have no problem talking about PEDs. So if you guys are watching this and you're like, oh my God, he's not natural. No, I'm not fucking natural. But
awesome. I'm the contrast. Like, I'm natural, but it doesn't matter, man. Like I said, to each
no. And again, who cares if you're natty or not? It doesn't matter. It's like that's a personal decision. But just like the way he has me timing them and everything, it's caused like no side effect. And I'm running a lot of stuff, but all microdose of a lot of stuff, right? So I have, my energy levels are crazy. My sleep is crazy. And my recovery is incredible. And I used to train 7 days a week. I'm only training 4 days a week now.
Wow.
Yep.
Interesting.
I do cardio every day, and then I
That's
do
kinda-
mobility training one day.
Yeah, we kind of take that approach with our wellness clinic. Like, we don't sell supplements just to sell them, right? Like, it's all based on your labs.
Right.
You know, like it's all dialed in, food allergies dialed in, hormones dialed in, all of that stuff. It's like, you know, we get people fucking better, but it's really dialed in. It's not like the typical functional medicine. You know, there's no protocols. We don't do protocols. It's all based on lab testing.
Right.
Which is, I mean, that's what your body's telling you.
Do you guys give blood? Do you dump?
Do we give blood?
Yeah, do you dump blood?
No, I don't.
We should. As men, we should give blood.
Yeah.
Think about it, like women bleed every month, right? We're like, we don't. So we just sit there and all the iron builds up and all that shit. Like, I think quarterly, every man should donate whatever they can. You know. Also, I'll tell you guys this much. Like, for the next week and a half after I dump blood, I feel so good.
Yeah.
But I have to wear a big hoodie when I go in, because they'll be like, oh great, fuck, another juice head coming in to dump blood. but I wear a big hoodie.
Getting all those PEDs they don't know about.
What's that?
I said somebody's getting blood with PEDs in it they don't know about.
I don't think it matters.
I don't know if it does. I don't know.
Listen, if I'm sitting in a car wreck and I'm need of blood and someone matches, I don't give a shit what's in their blood. Give me that blood.
I know.
And they process it and all. I don't know. I'm overthinking it now. Thanks a lot, Paul.
Yeah. Oh shit.
No, I'm definitely gonna have to look into the food allergy thing. That's, especially because I'm a person right now. My goal is to try to drop more fat off my body. So anything I can do to get inflammation away, just something's not right. I'm not,
dude. I'm telling you, get your stuff, get your labs and stuff with Paul, and call Brandon.
Yeah.
Just call Brandon. Again, I'm not just saying that because he's a JWX coach. Of course, I'm going to be biased to any JWX coach.
We want to support each other. Yeah.
But he's completely changed my whole outlook on everything. I've learned so much, and my results are I've been stuck. I've been stuck for the last year, just not growing in the areas that I want to in strength, size, and I know how to get lean. That's no problem. But, we always fight that level of muscle retention with leaning out, because really you can hypertrophy and atrophy. That's really all you get. But he has me down to a science now to where the scale has just become just to kind of know where I'm at with my food. That's about it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Do you have one of those scales that?
Well, you come from that.
I have a Withings.
Okay. Yeah. I've got the Withings body scan.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool too, because Justin, you come from that world anyway. So for you to be that dialed in, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing too, is that's why people need multiple coaches, right?
Oh yeah.
Not a one size fits all. I mean, I'm the leanest I've ever been, and I don't have a personal trainer. I haven't had good success with a few of them, but I've just become a student in that area too, which I'm sure he could dial me in way good too. But I'll have to give him a shout. Yeah.
Well, Brandon doesn't care if you run stuff and not. But I mean, I think that anything look, I started investing into coaching and I became a multimillionaire coach, right?
Yep.
I started investing into coaching. I got in the best shape of my life.
Yep.
Right. Everything that I've done has been by paying, and people wonder why they're not where they want to be. And it's you're trying to go at this shit alone. You're not going to do it. Your way doesn't work. It just doesn't
Especially as men.
work.
Men have this like innate thing we're born with that we think we can do it ourselves, right? The DIY guys, right? Do it yourself, like,
Yeah.
and then you
You
waste
don't have
fucking
to.
time trying to do it yourself, you know?
Yep. You waste enough time to tire yourself out and fucking quit.
Yep.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
like just to, and then it's like, you know, like, and again, it's an instant gratification thing to where like, you know, I'm not going to pay for something that I don't get right away. Well, that's why there's
But
mediocre people and there's losers and then there's winners. Like,
people overestimate what they can do, but they underestimate the time that it's going to take.
right.
Right? Like, and that's really true in any field, and that's not a pessimistic view. It's just a fact.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah, it is. You got to do hard shit to have any results.
like cold plunge.
Just gonna keep on needling that in there,
That's all right.
like a good old
your
cold
cold
plunge.
Well, this was fun. This was good impromptu. Good
Yeah.
podcast, guys. Really
There's value in there.
Yeah,
Yep.
really appreciate you guys coming on here and doing this. I gotta have dinner and spend some time with wifey.
Yep.
Yep.
This is
Sounds
good
about.
though. We went for like 2.5 hours, like outside of the podcast. So
I don't know.
it's good times. I love this
Just
shit.
think what'll happen the next Vegas trip.
Yeah. How's Wednesday sound? Right after Winston Churchill Day.
Yeah.
Right.
Excellent.
We need to see pictures of the cigars in bed tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Winston Churchill Day. Yep. I didn't
Look
even
it
know
up.
the thing, so I'm gonna look it up and. Yep.
All right.
See if I can partake.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, guys.